What's going on, everyone? So I'm just gonna go real quick. Why, in my opinion, I think that Razer is the best controller that you can get, at least especially on Xbox. Um, One is they got 4 milliseconds of input lag. Whether you got the Ultimate like I have here, or if you have the V2 or the V2 Chroma, you have 4 milliseconds of input lag, which is also relative, just like the Victrix Gambit, which is also 4 milliseconds of input lag. But unlike Xbox controllers, whether or not you have a SCUF, which uses Xbox components, or you use an Elite Series 2 like I have here, or just a regular Xbox controller, those all have 8 milliseconds of input lag, or 125 hertz locked frequency, which is which is the rate of communication between input from the device to the computer or the game console, whatever. So that's why generally gamepads like Razer are better, but also better because unlike all of the other controllers out there, the 2.5 millimeter headphone jack, for those of us that use it, like myself, is the cleanest, loudest, clearest, and lowest distortion out of all the other controllers, even compared to Xbox, which isn't too bad, but this is definitely the best. I find myself oftentimes voluming down the audio because sometimes it's a little too loud for my liking. So generally, that's why, in combination between input lag and the best onboard audio, as far as like, hearing things clearly with like very minimal to no distortion, is why, above all else, the Razer controllers are the best, in my opinion. Now, in particular, I think that the Razer Wolverine Ultimate, above all the other Razer controllers, is definitely better, is because it has a few things that the other two do not have. And one of the things that the Wolverine Ultimate has is called rumble triggers. These came out of a sacrificial Wolverine Ultimate that I was working on. And so, like the original Xbox controllers, they have the rumble motors again. So, which basically means, when you're playing racing games and, you're like, let's say you're drifting on like Forza or something, right? And you're pulling down the right trigger and your tires start slipping, you start drifting, and you lose traction, your right trigger vibrates. Left trigger, when your brakes lock up on you, what have not, this will also vibrate on you. So that's what's nice about that. So if you're racing competitively in games that support rumble triggers, you still have that plus the 4 milliseconds of input lag with the Razer Wolverine Ultimate. And then also, if you're playing games for the purpose of immersion and you're playing like the new Call of Duty and you're playing the campaign, there's like certain vibration haptic feedbacks that are built into the game that you get through the controller, through the back motors, but also through the triggers, that you don't get with like the V2 or the V2 Chroma. It's stuff that you're missing, and stuff you probably wouldn't notice until you actually notice that it's missing once you have gotten used to it. The other thing too is on the Razer Wolverine Ultimate is the toggling. So when you press this toggle here, you do toggle volume up, volume down, and then left right for party chat, in-game chat balance. You have your onboard mute button here. You have your profile switch button here, and then right here you have your remap toggle button. The other thing too that's nice about the Wolverine Ultimate controllers is that the components aren't so close together that it's actually fixable for those like myself that are willing to open their controller up, void the warranty, and actually fix things without buying a new controller, especially since this isn't built anymore. And even though you can get it for $100 versus $160 now directly from the Razer Amazon website or Amazon store, is you can use things like this, like these right here, which solder on the bottom side of the board underneath the analog sticks, and you basically take a little Phillips screwdriver, plug your controller in with it apart, and you plug it into controller software or a website, and you see where your stick drift is, and then you adjust negative, positive, XY axis to bring your stick back down to dead zone, which is nice. You can't do that with the V2 or V2 Chroma again because the components are too close together. Now, what's nice about having the options of having these for stick fix is that you can take things from this, which comes from Battle Beaver. Shout out to Battle Beaver. Is that you can then install the thumbstick components. So you can have, like me, on my end game controller, where you have 160 grams on the right, 110 on the left, and then of course for me, you know, you do have trigger stops, but this one being an end game, this is the ultimate end game for me. And not only do you have your trigger stops, right? I also have these adjustment screws here. If I can get it to adjust. So basically what I do, come on. So I adjust this, put this right here, and I put this one on the left stick here. And now for games that support the near dead zone instant trigger, you now have instant triggers. Plus the grips here, grips here, and also, I mean, they're detachable. So games like Borderlands 3 or other games that don't support the instant dead zone triggers, you can have your regular dead zone triggers. And then also I have foam inserts on my controller in particular, about 150 to 200 grams of force from open to full stop for racing game immersion, so it doesn't feel so much like a toy. I also have some sound deadener in it, so that way it feels, you know, more premium. For me, I don't like lightweight controllers. I like having some heft. I don't feel like I'm holding, you know, a toy. So yeah, that's why this particular Ultimate is in game, and why I think, in my opinion, that just in general, the Razer Wolverine Ultimate is the best controller that you can get for Xbox in 2022.